everybody. Welcome. It's Fangirl Friday. It's another Fangirl Friday Live. And my name's Anita Castellar. Our company is Fangirl Consulting and Brand Management. And every week we talk about fandom and the business behind fandom, unpacking it all with our friends and family from around the world. And this week we have Mary Franklin. Yay! Welcome, Mary. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good, Anita, and I'm really excited to be on the show. Being a fangirl and
right.
being in the business of fandom is one of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah, we are so lucky that we get to talk about this stuff and have a good time with it and actually make a livelihood at it. Who would have thought that we could do something like this? We're not have to be closet fangirls about anything, so it's just awesome. But I would love to be able to introduce you formally, and so tell us who you are and what's your title and who you work for.
I am Mary Franklin, and I am the head of events at Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll, the world's largest anime streaming service.
That's amazing. Yes, we have a lot of Crunchyroll activations in this household.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, yeah, we can't survive without the Crunchyroll here. So you are head of events. What exactly does that mean? Like, what do you actually do for Crunchyroll?
Well, I head up the teams who deliver extraordinary experiences to our fans. We do that in multiple ways. We do what we call outreach events, which that's when we go do activations, booths, panels, entertainment, other things at other people's events, like New York Comic-Con's on this weekend,
Right.
virtually, like we're involved in that, or if we go physically to people's events in the future, we're looking
like
forward to going
Anime
back to
NYC
that.
or something like that.
Right, Anime NYC, Anime Expo, those shows. Also, we do that globally. So I lead up the global event teams as well. We've got people in different regions all over the world, and head up our owned events, the ones that we own. Like we do anime movie nights, we do the Crunchyroll Anime Awards. And the biggest thing we do is our own expo, Crunchyroll Expo. So lead the teams internally and externally who present that experience for fans.
That's quite a varied experience pot there. It's a lot going on at any given time, I'm sure, and especially with all the time zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you do because you pick good talent and you're also a good leader. I remember working with you at Lucasfilm. With speaking of Lucasfilm, I kind of want to go back, like take us back in Mary Franklin's history and talk about your own fandom. And then like, how did that inform your career pathing and how you got to where you are today?
My fandom was like a huge and unexpected stepping stone to my career. I was living in a fishing town, an isolated fishing town in Cordova, Alaska. There's no roads into the town. You have to fly or take a boat. And believing I was one of the only adult Star Wars female fans in the world. Because I didn't know that many others in the town. And when the internet came to Cordova, I got involved in one of the first online communities. This was in the mid-90s. This was before Lucasfilm even had a website.
Wow.
And we discovered fans all over the world. It was a really exciting time, like for those of us who didn't know there were other people who cared so much about Star Wars, as we did. And I really, really big Star Wars fan. And so I ended up leading that group, the Star Wars Online Fan Club. And we did all those old things, like have chat rooms and AOL and trivia contests. And we did newsletters and e-zines, as they used to call them.
E-zines, wow.
E-zines, yeah, right. And at one point, Lucasfilm reached out to us. And to Lucasfilm's credit, they really wanted to know what fans were thinking. I was part of the Star Wars Online Fan Club, also part of a largely professional female group that we called ourselves the Star Ladies.
Oh, wow.
And they were very interested in what women were interested in Star Wars. They really wanted to learn more about female fandom. and so I really credit them with
Right.
being so interested and wanting to understand it from the fan perspective.
It's pretty progressive for that time.
It was, yes. And, I think Lucasfilm marketing and Lucasfilm licensing and fan relations under Steve Sansweet were all really being proactive there.
Yeah.
So I became like a volunteer, but like a conduit to them for fan information and like a connection to the female fans. Our newsletter had over 7,000 subscribers in 23 countries.
Wow.
Which, for the 90s,
for the so-called internet.
Yeah, the internet was in the 90s. That was really good. And yeah, I did this weekly newsletter. And so I really got to know a lot of people at Lucasfilm that way. Once they decided to do Star Wars Celebration themselves so that the fan club in Denver under Dan Madsen had done the first Star Wars Celebration, and then Lucasfilm wanted to take it more in-house, and they asked if I wanted to apply for the event job for Star Wars Celebration. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, right? It's pretty amazing. Right?
So I packed up to the San Francisco Bay Area, left Alaska, moved to San Francisco Bay Area, and went to work for Lucasfilm. That was 2001.
Wow.
And I was there for 14 years. And like Star Wars Celebration brought it up from its infancy and worked with a lot of people to develop a lot of the key characteristics that make it a fan show. Like,
what are some of those? Yeah. What are some of those characteristics?
Yeah, it's so important in passion events that there's authenticity. At Lucasfilm, we called it our love letter to Star Wars fans. And one of the first things that we did, and one of the first things that I worked with, was getting the fans involved, bringing in the early days of the R2-D2 builders, the really early days of the 501st Legion, the Imperial costumers, early days Mandalorian mercs, early days of the Rebel Legion, like those different fan groups. And then also curating fan panel content.
Wow.
Because it's like when fans are part of the show and fans are hearing from other fans, they know it's authentic. Yeah. It's not just us throwing marketing messages at them. The show is their show.
I think we have a picture with you with a droid. We're going to show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think this picture is from when we did a show in Essen, Germany. We did Star Wars Celebration in Germany one year, which was really, really fun to work on those shows globally.
They have a strong Legion there. They have a strong
They do. Very strong.
That's such a great, those are really great memories. I always love Celebration for that, like the fan engagement, and like I would go to work, but I was going to have a great time as well. And that's where I really discovered my con family, which I know everyone has a con family if you've ever been to a con.
Yes, that's right.
And to your point, it's like we're all the fans talk to the fans, but also it's basically whoever is putting on their own convention is really kind of creating just a forum for everybody to get together, and I talk a lot about community and how fandom brings people together, whatever, regardless of what that fandom is. And, people want to be a part of community and they want to share these things. And, Celebration was what you're talking about. And that's like one of the first flowers basically of that type of idea.
It was. I'm really, really proud of that.
Yeah, and you should be. I think it's really one of the few, I think, conventions, and now I bet you're doing the same thing for Crunchyroll, but one of the few kind of conventions that is, put on by a studio for the fans, by the fans, and but there's also the business behind it, right? There has to be that, because there are certain accomplishments that need to be, had as well.
Yeah.
Right? So tell us the differences from that you felt from the beginning to the end, of your time on Celebration, or like working that fan event.
Oh man, it's the differences from beginning to end of Star Wars Celebration. It really just grew. Like the fan involvement was there from when I started working on it, but it grew like the professionalism and the expertise and the generosity that all the fan groups brought to Star Wars Celebration has just gotten better and better over the years. It was always good, but it's just gotten, more professional, more beautifully done. Like you can't tell what the fans do from what we might have had built by like a professional company. Like it's really fantastic. Mm-hmm. And their ownership, like their feeling of ownership has grown, which is great. And then a big thing, an evolution, we kind of came back where we started. When I first started working on the show, Star Wars Celebration was specifically to promote the movies.
Right.
It was, we worked on the Star Wars Celebrations to promote or to connected to Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And then we thought, oh, no more movies. But then then there was Clone Wars and there was TV, but it was obvious that this fan community loved getting together and loved celebrating Star Wars and loved celebrating their fandom. And obviously the licensing program for many companies was still really strong. So so we just kept doing celebrations. Like, even though originally I didn't think I would have a job after that movie. And
you thought you were going back to a fishing village and you weren't going anywhere.
Some of that, I'd find some other event company to work for, but but then, movies came back. And so, I was still at Lucasfilm when we started the celebrations. We worked on the celebrations for the new movies. Yeah. And that was a level of excitement. It was like critical mass. At first we had the movies, the events were big and successful, but not huge. Mm-hmm. And the fandom built up, the celebration faithful built up, and they were all just really happy getting together. And then, oh my God, the movies came back.
And then people were crying in the hallways, and me included. Like,
it was really fun to be part of that.
That's really fun. So, but then you said you mentioned going off to see a whole new life in a whole new event company, right? So you did eventually leave Lucasfilm, and you did go on to work for another company.
Yes, I went to Reed Pop, and I was at Lucasfilm 14 years, which loved it. But we all decide, well, it's time I need to learn some new things. Right. And the Reed Pop job, Reed Pop has the production contract with Lucasfilm for Star Wars. So I would still get to work on Star Wars Celebration. So that was nice. But we were launching Comic-Cons in other countries. And to me, that was a new challenge, something I really wanted to do and be a part of. And I was so lucky. I worked with teams, really talented teams. And while I was there, we launched in France and Austria and Indonesia, China, South Korea, South Africa. Plus we had conventions in India and Singapore, Australia, and the UK. Finally, I lived in the UK when we acquired the MCM Comic-Con group. Okay. Yeah, so it was a great experience for me, a really good learning experience. I'm also like a pop culture fan, and I get really caught up in pop culture fandoms. Was really caught up in Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and now Game of Thrones. Still, I'm actually rewatching Game of Thrones right now. So I'm a very passionate fan about a number of movies.
That's awesome. How were the fan conventions different in each region, or were they similar? There are always similarities. The fan passion is similar, but the different regions champion different things. In France, Paris, Comic-Con Paris, and
Indonesia, in Jakarta, for example, like artists, comic artists are the rock stars.
Okay.
Yeah, people love the artists. They love like live drawing sessions, and it's like those are the rock stars. In Seoul, South Korea, the big Hollywood stars are the big draw. Like it different things get people excited in different areas, and you can present a whole show, but it's so important that the local fans are involved in helping determine what you're going to have at your show. In fact, our Seoul, South Korea team did a really great thing. They got a lot of influencers together in different areas, influencers in toy collecting, in Marvel, in Star Wars, in anime, and K-pop, and they got them together as like a council that they would meet with regularly to help guide the direction of the show content. And it was a great idea. Yeah. I talk about it in my TEDx talk on getting fans involved in your business, which is in my LinkedIn.
That's great.
If anyone wants to check out a TEDx talk, I do talk about how they did that there as well.
That's great. So then you worked for ReadPop, you accomplished so many things and you evangelized fandom to the world and making it okay. Because, we talk about that too, sometimes in different, guest interactions that I have, where there was like this big stigma, right? For a long time that it wasn't okay to be a big geek or nerd about any particular topic.
Right.
And you had to like hide in your closet and read your books or whatever it was.
Right.
And now there's like not really that stigma anymore. Now it's almost like it's cool.
Yeah.
So, you took that out to the world. Yeah. And, and even more so for women, like you were saying, it's kind of like, it was unusual, right? For women to be fangirls at that time.
And I think there were a lot of us who were, but we just didn't know there were other ones, until the internet got us together and we go, oh, actually, there are quite a few fangirls out there. We just didn't know it.
Exactly. So you did that with Read, but now you're at Crunchyroll. So tell us how you got to Crunchyroll.
I was really excited to come back to a brand that was championing fans. Crunchyroll is like really a champion of their fans. They're a huge streaming service, but they really want to take what we call a 360 approach, with merchandise, with games, with events. And it's like, we want to give these great experiences to anime fans. And it was also another, like, anime is something new for me. So it was another way that I get exposed to more. I get to learn new things.
Yeah.
While getting to my prime motivator in my career is I love working on things that are milestones in people's lives. That the events are milestones. So. And I was also happy to move back to San Francisco. I love San Francisco. And so, it's been great and exciting. And then that was all new. And then this year, the whole virtual event thing.
And then COVID hits.
Completely new.
2020 hits, and now everything's out the window.
New things we weren't expecting.
A lot of new things we weren't expecting. So, the biggest thing that has been the hugest impact, obviously, has been all of our ability to get together, right? And our ability to be in person, whether it be for work purposes or for fun, entertainment purposes. But, that's a huge challenge, especially for, these fan events where, they're very dependent, obviously, on these physical locations and people coming and all of the business that is to be had there and all the talent and all that stuff. So how did Crunchyroll adjust this year from going from Crunchyroll Expo, which is a huge, in-person event, very successful, to, something, I think you guys planned a virtual event this year.
We did. And it was honestly the start of the year, once COVID was happening, it it's hard to imagine now, but
Mm-hmm.
in like March, April, like we really didn't know how long it would last. So for the longest time, my team was planning full live event and then
Wow.
starting to try to figure out virtual.
Yeah.
Because none of us had done it. And I say often now, I said, honestly, we should have already been investigating how to add virtual to our repertoire. But this made us do it this year.
Yeah, accelerated that. Do you think that that's going to be part of conventions, whether they be, again, business or fan events or anything like, do you think that that's going to be a layer to the event from now on, a virtual piece?
Absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
we absolutely will have virtual elements now. And it's really exciting time to think about how that's going to look going forward. We just, our artist alley, we curated an artist alley. It had, and I can talk more about how we made the event. Sorry.
Yeah.
Talk more about the specifics, but we had artists from 10 countries in our artist alley. We did a live cosplay event, and the cosplayer who took our best in show competed from Brazil.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like this way to bring fans together globally is something we want to make sure we keep doing.
Yeah. And get more accessible, through the internet. Obviously nothing beats being with the people, right? Feeling that energy in person, but it's a pretty
can't replace
good
a live
alternative.
Event. Yeah, I know fans can't wait till they can safely get together again, and we want to make sure we safely get them together. But I do definitely think virtual will continue to be part of live events going forward.
How quickly did you have to pivot? Yeah.
Sorry?
How quickly did you have to pivot from like, okay, we're playing physical event. Nope, today we're planning the virtual.
We spent a couple months planning both, and then we finally had to decide, all right, it's not looking good for gathering. In September, we want our fans to be safe, so we're going full virtual. That is what we did, and we really wanted to be different. Like, my biggest goal for my team was that we got away from the just putting content on the stream, which is what other people were doing, which is fine. Obviously, they had really good results, but we really wanted to think like, okay, how do we make an environment that, how do we create an environment that feels as much like a convention as it possibly can? So we went to something we do at our live event, which is like our new Crunchy City theme.
Okay.
And
I think we have some photos we're going to share too. Yeah.
Yeah. We created districts. And so we had our anime arts district, which contained 180 artists from 10 countries who we curated, like our team, our artists, our people who know anime art curated the artists. And so that was like our artist alley. We curated, we had over 100 exhibitors in our exhibit hall, and with some big names in anime, like Aniplex and Toei, and so they were in our exhibit hall with show specials and show exclusives. So we got shopping is a very important part of
yes, it is.
Any convention, right? We also had our theater district, and the theater district included our stages we had 4 live streams going, plus something I was really big on was doing 24-hour-a-day video on demand.
Oh, okay.
So we started the show with some panels and some entertainment preloaded in video on demand, and then after it appeared on the stream, it was available then for the rest of the show in the video on demand area that was 24 hours a day. Because we really, wanted the people all over the world, regardless of time, to be able to enjoy these things. And then we also had virtual live meet and greets with celebrities that fans could get. So they could talk, they could get a recording of them talking to the celebrity, they could get autographed. So that was like that. And then our area, I think that really was a differentiator, an extra special differentiator, was the super arcade.
Oh.
If you've been to Japan, you've been to Tokyo, you've seen those multi-level arcades.
Yeah.
All kinds of entertainment, you know, everything from gambling to bowling to music to, you know, you name it. And so we created a super arcade with art galleries. We had a gallery from MAPPA. We had a gallery of celebrity anime fan art. We had music. We had the Miku Symphony with Vocaloid.
Oh, nice.
And we had other like DJs and things. And like we had quiet rooms with art and music and like mellow, and they got used even more than we thought they would.
Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting. And we had even a cat cafe. So we had a 24-hour stream to a real kitten cafe where people could watch kittens and they could donate or adopt if they.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, and so we really wanted this environment. We had chats, you know, the panels had chats. You know, we wanted as much community as we could, and now we've seen ways we can make that community experience even better.
So after you've been working on anime for a while, and we'll take it easy on you in this question, but we do have a question from one of the attendees or here watching, and we know that you said anime was a little bit new to you. So, you know, what is your favorite anime so far that since you've been working on Crunchyroll?
Honestly, the new one, and I know it's not a pure anime, but our original we have coming up called Onyx Equinox.
Oh.
I've been fortunate enough to see some of it, and I can't wait to see more. I'm super excited. It's like the Mesoamerica setting.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that.
Fascinating.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it takes someone who's not a hero, and he's in fact not even all that likable, and it's like the fate of the world.
Uh-oh.
Rests on him. It's going to be really good. Like I'm excited for Onyx Equinox.
It gave me like Apocalypto vibes. Have you ever seen that movie, Apocalypto? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that one's going to be a real favorite. I'm excited about that.
That's good. That's good. Do you have a second one more traditional?
Well, I don't know if this is more traditional, but what
well, if anything about Mary Franklin is traditional, I don't know, then it might be boring.
No. Like one of my colleagues gave me the Trigun set, and that was like, wow, that is like, you know, not what I was expecting, but I really enjoyed that too.
Cool. That's good. Oh, that's really good. So, you know, you've worked on now a virtual event, probably going to be going forward with virtual and probably hybrid, you know, ideas. You know, what are some of the challenges? I know you said you had great, you know, opportunity and great success in what you did do, but what were some of the big, like, you have to solve for this issue, or, you know, or was there a naysayer who was like, oh, this isn't going to work? Or I'm sure there's always one of those, but.
Well, bless my team. I told them early on, I said, we are not saying no to anything till after the show. Everything we are going to check out. We are not saying no to anything. And they really, really worked hard. And our biggest challenges were technical, which I can talk to, because we wanted to create this world. There wasn't like one technical solution that we could do this. We had live streams, VOD. We needed things geo-blocked differently.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of our content.
Explain geo-blocking just in case someone.
Sure. Yeah. So like much of our content with Crunchyroll, we're able to show it. We have the license, we can show it in certain countries. We have and much of our content was worldwide. We could do worldwide, but there's a good chunk of it too that was ex-Asia. That means there's certain Asian countries that we are not able to show it in because of our agreements with the Japanese studios.
Right.
And so we even had some content from our Russian team that was only available to see in Russia and those.
Wow. So you had to customize the content. And so I would log it. Let's say I'm logging in from Russia and you're logging in from, let's say, Asia. And the content that they were going to see as each of us logs in had to be different because of licensing agreements that Crunchyroll holds with the original studios. So how do you even solve that? Like, that is so hard.
Yeah, exactly. Now, anyone could go to the website, log in, and like go to a lot of the areas. They could go into all the districts.
Okay.
But then, so they could go to the exhibit hall, they could go to the alley, they could go to this theater district. We had sections that said, worldwide, ex-Asia, and then you could click a list to the countries. This group, there was another group, Americas plus English speaking. We had different things. So then you would choose for your theatrical experience, you would choose your area. And we ended up like constructing together 5 platforms. Like we stuck. So we had Vimeo, we had Livestream, we had Patreon, we had the Read Pop website, which was the home of all these things. Patreon was connected to Grotix, and we had for some of the music, we had to go offsite to the DJ's Twitch stream. So
so it was a click through though. So like if you had to go to offsite for the DJ's, site or what have you, had
that
to
was a
click
click
through. Okay, and then come off the platform essentially.
Yeah.
But were all of those things kind of running behind the scenes, and no one knew that they were all running behind the scenes?
Correct. That was the fans came to this web world, just our new Crunchy City online.
Yeah.
And just chose what they wanted to do, and it happened. That's what we wanted to do. But that was figuring out those things. Oh, and we also used FanGage for the autographs. FanGage does the digital instant, you get the autograph picture.
I don't think I've heard of FanGage.
Yeah, so we used them for that. And it was great. We learned a lot. But the technical part was, because we didn't want to just do a stream. We didn't want to just do a YouTube stream or just do a Twitch stream. Nothing against those, but we wanted a world. And that making that was technically, for us, our first time, it was a challenge.
Well, for being your first time, I think you and the team, kind of did an incredible job trying to figure out how to patch all these things together and still make it a seamless experience for the fan who's sitting on the other side of the screen and has no idea.
Hopefully.
all the technical gymnastics that are happening in the background.
Wow. Hopefully they didn't. Yeah, that was our goal. And we've obviously learned, we can see how we can improve this going forward. But our team, my team, Read Pop, the Read Pop website team, like everyone really went into solution thinking and didn't just say, oh no, that'd be hard. Like, oh, how can we do that?
Right.
And even things as simple as the cat cafe, because I had said, because in Japan they do have the cat cafes. I said, let's figure out how to do at the live show. Let's do a cat cafe, and then we went virtual. And I said, let's do a virtual cat cafe. Can we do that? And my team, thank you, didn't say like no. They just said, all right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So how did they pull it off? Did they like go to this cat cafe and just live stream from the cat cafe in Japan, or?
Well, no, it was actually a place called the Kitten Academy in Connecticut that had a 24-hour live stream anyway. And they were very engaged with us, and they were very like helpful with like making it look good. Then the website page, we had Yuzu. Yuzu is our mascot, Hime's companion, her cat, right. Yuzu. And we made it Yuzu's Cat Cafe, so we did it themed, and as people could go watch the kittens any time of day.
Shout out to the Connecticut Cat Cafe.
Shout out to the Academy in Connecticut. And they, people can donate, or if they lived in Connecticut, they go donate, adopt a cat.
That's amazing.
I think we'll keep doing something like that because it got great. It's one of those things that fans go to. They go to watch, the celebrities. They go to watch the cosplay. They go to do these other things, but it's little things like the quiet room, the cat cafe. People go, oh, and they had a quiet room. Those little things are talking points that are really important and that fans enjoy. It differentiates the experience.
It sure does. I wonder though, I mean, like, why would they need the quiet room on a virtual event? I mean, couldn't they just like log out, right? Or shut down if they're feeling sensory overload?
Well, part of it, the quiet room, we themed them to anime. So we had like Laid Back Camp, quiet room. We had Tower of God, and we had Somali and the Forest Spirits. We had 3. And kudos to the editors. It was like beautifully done montage of concept art from each of those animes that was gorgeous. Like, and Lauren on our team picked beautiful concept art. And so then this relaxing music. So so if you're a fan of Laid Back Camp, for example, just seeing the concept art, it was gorgeous. And the music was relaxing, and it looped, they were loops. Right. So people could keep them on, and we were surprised that people were going through the loops like 4 or 5 times. They didn't just watch it and quit. Right. They kept it on, like they enjoyed it.
I bet you it's like kind of the equivalent of having, the YouTube channel with your fireside, music and the Zen feeling to it all. I bet you it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So did you guys plan to have the content on like after? I guess I haven't, really checked it out since then, but have you kept it on so that people could actually like dip back into it, or is it gone forever?
It's gone. We kept it on. Everything went on the VOD. The VOD went until the next day, Monday. It went like 24 hours. I really wanted to preserve the feeling of, this is the event weekend. This is when you get to see these things. This is like a convention.
Right.
And here it is. Kept it on overnight to the following day with like the fans in Europe and Asia in mind, and Australia and New Zealand, so they could see it, not in the middle of the night.
Right.
And I mean, bits and pieces might show up in other things, but no, it happens then.
It's done.
It's done. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's part of the bragging rights, right? I mean, part of the convention experience is like bragging rights. Like, I went there, I did this, I got this when I was standing in line or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking, we also had swag. We also had digital giveaways in the arcade as well. So we had that convention feature as well.
That's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. What would you want to like incorporate or see in either your fan convention or any fan convention kind of going, because there's trends, right? So like, I guess in one way, the bigger question is, what are the trends do you think happening besides digital inclusion? And then what would you like to do?
I think something that will trend, it should trend, and definitely we want to do it, is a better global connection for fans. Like, fans could attend our show globally. They could be in the chat rooms together, which was great. Right. But we want to take their fan connection with each other to the next level. Mm-hmm. Like, we're still figuring out what that is, but I think that is, yeah, people consume content online all the time, but how do we make sure they're also getting that connection of, wow, I was, like when we're at a live convention and we're standing in a queue and like, oh, I was standing next to these people from France, and then I was standing next to these other people from Mexico, and this was like really cool, and we were all in line together, and I have friends now in Mexico. Right. And like, we want to be able to make that happen virtually as well as live. And that taking that next level of connection to fans is really important. Oh, and I want to say something about the fans. We curated, because it's my thing, we curated fan content. It wasn't at the live Crunchyroll Expo last year. I just kind of started mid-process. This year we curated fan panels, and we curated them for the virtual show when we switched that way. Yeah. And the viewership numbers and the viewership minutes watched almost as high on the fan panels as the Japanese celebrity guest panels.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it does. It shows, I love it. It shows that, of course, fans come to see their favorite Japanese guests, of course. And that is vital part of the show that we always want to deliver. But it also showed that fans really love hearing those things from other fans. Like they love learning how to carve anime figures out of vegetables, and they they love learning how to make skirts, or getting into Gundam, all those things from fans. They love it. And it wasn't just
the cosplay tutorials and such.
It was great. And it wasn't just the viewership numbers, it was the minutes watched were right up there.
That's great.
It was really great to see.
Because I wonder if they would go back and then rewatch it, if they missed something or
yeah, they were the numbers on the stream were good, and the VOD really good.
That's crazy. I wonder if one of the, I guess here's your freebie idea, which is, how they have the watch party now, watch parties for the movies or whatever. I wonder if then, one way to get into is pretty simplistic, but one way for the future is to have these watch parties together. When I had left Lucasfilm, you guys had gone to, I want to say it was Essen, I think it was Germany, when you guys had the convention there. My family got up early and we streamed it, but then we put it on the laptop, but we put it on our TV, because at that time we didn't have a smart TV. And then we watched it as a family together on TV, and we would dip in and out, and we would say, oh, my favorite panel's coming at this time of day, and so we would tune in for that throughout the whole weekend. It was great. One of those things. And I guess one way we had our own little watch party. So maybe that's kind of a neat way to be able to get in to the global event.
I agree. And that's definitely, I see that as an important part of getting the fans to more connected.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if there's a way to do it, but to getting the fans connected to those people in line. Literally to be in line with them.
Yeah, we'd like to figure that out. Yeah.
Project holograms or something. I don't know. Oh my goodness. So if you had either a wish list of events or tasks, or even, I don't know, brands, not that you're looking past your current role, but everybody has a wish thing to do, right? What would you say is your big passion, wish piece, or bucket list thing to do?
I really want to do a convention for fans, the Crunchyroll fans now, that's 24 hours a day, not just virtual, but live in multiple locations around the world the same weekend. That is my big goal.
Yeah, I bet you could do it. Because we did the whole, you were still around for Force Friday, right? The first one for episode 7. Yeah. So that whole rolling event, on unboxings and featurettes and stuff like that. I bet you could do it. You're pretty smart.
I do. Live conventions as well as feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Wow, that's industrious. We have a question from Mark Edwards. Hey, Mark, what immersive streaming tech, in your opinion, is here to stay?
I don't think any of them are here to stay in their current forms.
Good point. No, good. If you don't evolve, you die, right? Like
I
that's
think
pretty
they are
much
all going to evolve. Yep. I just
well, I think the most common is what, Zoom,
they're all
Teams.
providing a piece. They're all providing a piece of the event puzzle right now, but I think they're all going to evolve.
Yeah. What are you most excited for in the convention scene in 2021? That's the second part from Mark.
I am the most excited to hopefully safely, very safely, if it's safe, get back to live events with virtual inclusion that no one has seen before. That's what my poor team, I'm like, we're back to we're not saying no to anything.
If your team's watching right now, they just got deer in headlights. They just were like, oh no.
Oh yes.
Talk about anime eyes. They were just like, oh, they were, get ready, y'all. Get your roller skates on. Because Mary's got some ideas cooking.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mary, like I said, it goes really fast. We're already getting towards the end of our time together. Oh my gosh. So where can we find you? Or should we say what projects you're working on? Or we kind of already touched on that? Like what's upcoming,
well,
guys?
We're already working on the live Crunchyroll Expo show, which is in 2021. It's scheduled for August 6th, 7th, and 8th in San Jose.
Earlier this year.
Yep. We're moving off Labor Day weekend. We're going to stake our claim on the first weekend of August. That's in San Jose, but also with never before seen virtual elements.
That's right.
And my team is also we're virtually at New York Comic Con this weekend. We're looking at other virtual events this autumn and this spring. So that will be there for those looking at if we can do something virtually before our live show. For me personally, I am at Mary PopCon on both Instagram and Twitter. And also, if you want to hear more about getting fans involved in your business proposition, it doesn't have to be a pop culture convention, but my TEDx talk on getting fans involved in your business is in LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn. So I'm Mary Franklin on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch that for sure. Maybe we'll just stream it. Maybe we'll do that on a FanGirl Friday Live, right? We'll just
there you go.
broadcast it out. And maybe have you do pop-up videos and I was thinking this when I said it.
Yeah.
That actually might be fun.
I'd happily do that.
Yeah, all right. Talk about brain power. Okay, so Mary Franklin on LinkedIn, Mary Pop, say that again. Mary PopCon. Mary PopCon.
So Mary Instagram Pop Culture Convention, but Mary PopCon. Yeah.
And of course, Crunchyroll is it Crunchyroll on Instagram and all the other normal platforms? Yeah.
There's Crunchyroll and there's also Crunchyroll Expo. Expo. But Perfect. CrunchyrollExpo.com is our website, which right now has a lovely thank you video that they're getting ready for our next launch into the ether iteration. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you, Mary, for joining us this week. Thank you for always being such a great person to, work with and evangelize fandom to the world. So, and in such a professional manner. I know that there are fans all around the world who are very grateful for your efforts and team's efforts that have worked with you. So I know from my side, thank you. And thank all your behind the scenes teams. Because I know it means a lot to people to bring them together in this fashion. And I really am glad that we were able to have this time too, because then we could show a little bit behind the scenes on what happens to put these things together. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Thank you, Anita. I really appreciate the opportunity. I love coming on and talking about fandoms.
Yeah.
You know, being fangirl myself, and just I feel so lucky that I get to work with fans every day.
Absolutely. And with that, it's Fangirl Friday Live, you guys. Every Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. This is the same spot, same bat time, same bat channel. My name's Anita Castellar. I am the fangirl from Fangirl Friday Live and the company as well behind it. But, you know, thanks for spending your time with us every week. If this is your first time tuning in, thank you for spending your time, and hopefully you'll come back. And if you've been here before, thanks again for spending your time with us every week. Mary Franklin, thank you again. See you guys later.
Thanks, Anita. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.